When I got back into reading this year, I made it my mission to start adding more books to my home library. And I'm just so excited to show you what I've got. This is the biggest book haul that I've ever done on this channel. I've done a couple of smaller book hauls before, but I've been saving these over the past couple of months so that I can show you all what I've got. I haven't even opened these. I've had these boxes for like a month or two, and I've been very patient because I wanted to open them with you all on camera. This video is also going up during Thanksgiving week here in the US, so I wanted to take a moment to say thank you to my lovely community here on YouTube. If you watched the very first video I posted on BookTube, my BookTube newbie tag, then you know that it's always been a dream of mine to have my own YouTube channel, and I just want to thank you guys so much for making these dreams come true for me. When I started, I had a couple of subscribers, and now we've grown to over 860 subscribers, and I'm just so grateful for you all, which is why I'm so excited to announce the giveaway that I'm going to be doing, because I just wanted to take a moment and thank you all so much for supporting me, and I thought, what better way to do that than to do a little giveaway? So make sure you stick around until the end of the video so you'll find out what the giveaway is and how to enter. Now let's get into the books. I'm not going to go super in depth with every single book like I normally do because I don't want to keep you here forever. I just want to show you all of the books that I have in today's haul. So let's start with my book subscription books over here, and then we'll move on to these books, which are used books that I actually bought. The first book that I want to talk about is Masquerade, and this is an aardvark pick from October, I think, and let's just take a moment to appreciate this gorgeous cover. Masquerade is a historical fiction, and it's set in a reimagined 15th century West Africa. It follows our FMC, who is abducted by a warrior king, and she must fight for her freedom. The next book I have is When the World Tips Over, and this is actually a YA literary fiction with some magical realism and romance elements to it as well. It's set in Northern California. It follows the story of three siblings in the aftermath of their father disappearing. Okay, let's start opening a couple of these boxes. This first one is from Book of the Month, which is a book subscription service. Again, I've talked about them a lot on this channel. I also wanted to show you all the box because it's always so nicely packaged. I've rarely had any issues with them. There was one month where I think I had a book that had a little bit of smudging on these pages, and I emailed customer service and they sent me a new one right away. So their customer service has always been really good. I got the Book of Witching, which is a historical fiction. There's witchcraft, cults, and curses in this book, which I thought would be perfect for Halloween. I didn't end up getting to this book, so I might just have to save it for next Halloween. Let's open our next box. I think that this one I ordered in like November. This is my November box, and I got more books this month because there were just so many that I wanted to pick that I just couldn't choose from. And oh my gosh, look! So Book of the Month has these different tiers, and once you've gotten to their highest tier, I think it's about 12 books or 12 months of ordering, then you get BFF status, which means that you get a free book tote. I think you also get like a free book on your birthday, and you get a free book from their Book of the Year finalists, which I felt like was a pretty good deal. Since I became a BFF with Book of the Month, they actually sent me a book tote, and I've been looking forward to this for like the whole year, waiting for this, and ta-da! Ooh, it's actually like really nice material. It's not thin at all. It's actually like a really nice canvasy cotton material. Look at that. Oh my gosh. It says book pocket on here. It's got the Book of the Month logo as well. And it's actually like a pretty decent size. I could definitely picture myself using this when I go to the library or when I go book shopping. Ooh, and it has a zipper as well. This is actually really nice. And this was free, which is awesome. They also sent me this, which has like a short story in it, and I believe this was also free this month. I think I've been the most excited for this box because this box has pretty much all of my fantasy picks, and I want to show you the very first one. This is The Teller of Small Fortunes, and I've heard so many wonderful things about this book so far, and I wanted to take a moment to appreciate the cover. So The Teller of Small Fortunes follows the story of a traveling fortune teller who makes her money basically telling small fortunes until one day her small fortune turns into something much bigger. There's also like a magical cat in here as well. So It just sounded so cozy and wholesome. It's awesome to discover new AAPI authors, so I'm really glad to add this one to my collection. I know I'm saying this with all of the books, but I'm really excited to show you this one. So this is Where the Library Hides by Isabel Ibanez. And this is actually a duology. So the first book is What the River Knows, which is a YA fantasy. I read it earlier this year, and it's set in like the late 1800s in Egypt about a young woman who travels to Egypt to find her parents who've disappeared. There's mystery, there's action, there's also a enemies to lovers romance, betrayal. It has all of the things. So I read What the River Knows back in March or April of this year, and it ended on a cliffhanger, and I was like, oh my gosh, I have to find out what happens. When's the second book coming out? And it didn't come out until November, so I had to wait like 5 or 6 months for it, and as soon as it came out, I knew I had to get it and add it to my collection. Finished with this box. I got my very last book subscription box, and this one is from Aardvark. Ta-da! So the first book that I got from them is The Scholar and the Last Fairy Door. So pretty. And look how beautiful this is. Oh my goodness. This is a fantasy set in England during the 1920s at a magical academy that has fairies, and I don't think I have to say anymore. I love fantasy, I love fairies, I love magic, I love dark academia things. This is obviously a no-brainer. The next book is American Rapture. Again, let's just take a moment to appreciate the beauty of this cover. It's giving like neon flamingo, like Miami Vice vibes. I don't think this book is set in Miami. This is actually a science fiction slash horror. I don't read horror books, even though I got 2. I'm trying to expand my horizons, trying to push myself out of my comfort zone, but it has some science fiction elements to it as well. And I do like science fiction. I haven't been reading a lot of science fiction, but I wanted to expand my library. American Rapture is about a spreading virus across America where people are getting infected. Think like The Last of Us. I love that show so much, by the way. So if you haven't watched The Last of Us, definitely watch it. Highly recommend. This is the last book I have from Aardvark, and it is Eleanor of Avignon. This is a historical fiction which is set in the 14th century in France, I believe, during a plague, and it follows the story of our FMC Eleanor, who is a young midwife who must fight for her life. I love these little Aardvark ear bookmarks, so cute. We're gonna do these next in no particular order, but these are all used books that I got from World of Books, which all of these books were less than $10. I think a majority of them were even less than $5. Since this is my first time ordering from them, I wasn't really sure what to expect. And it did take a while to get my order. I think it took like a week or 2 to get my order, but it makes sense. I mean, it's from a different country. Most of the books arrived in the condition that they sold the books in, but I did have a couple of issues with some of the books. The description on the site was that this was a very good book, and I'm not sure if it was just like the shipping process. I ended up having some issues, I mean, which is fine. Like, I can still read it. I did email their customer service, and they did reach out to me to resolve the issue and ask me to send some pictures. I just haven't followed up. So I'll keep you guys posted on how their customer service is and what they'll do to, I guess, rectify the situation. This is by Emily Henry. This is a romance, and I've read a couple of Emily Henry books so far. I've read Happy Place. I'm in the middle of reading Funny Story. We've just got our little introverted book girly who falls in love, and I felt like, what a cozy little premise. This next book that I have is The Joy Luck Club by Amy Tan. Also a very beautiful cover. So this is a historical fiction, and it's set in 1949 in San Francisco. It follows the story of 4 Chinese American families, and they created the Joy Luck Club to find community in this new country that they've moved to, and they meet weekly to play mahjong and also tell stories about their life back in China. And I've heard really, really wonderful things about this book. It's a story about family, and I felt like it would be be perfect to read around this time of the year. The next book I want to show you is The Handmaid's Tale, which is a science fiction dystopian novel, and I was just in the mood for a dystopian novel. I have watched the show, which was really good, and I think the new season is coming out very soon, so I'm gonna have to rewatch it, but I also wanted to read it. The next book is also a historical fiction. This is The Tea Girl of Hummingbird Lane. This is by Lisa C., and I absolutely love Lisa C. One of my favorite books of all time is by Lisa C. It's Lady Tan's Circle of Women, which I read last year, which is just such a gorgeous book. If you haven't read it already, highly recommend if you like historical fiction and if you like strong FMCs. This book is set in a remote mountain village where the families there farm for tea, and our FMC here decides that she wants a different path for herself. So she ends up leaving her village to go into the city to get an education and start her own business. Next, we've got a mystery slash thriller. I think this is the only thriller that I've got. This is Then She Was Gone by Lisa Jewell. And I think Lisa Jewell writes primarily thrillers. I've never read anything by her before. I think this book is about a mother who tries to find her daughter after she disappears. This next book that I have is One Last Stop. This is a romance about a young 20-something who lives in New York City, and she is looking for love. After reading something like this, I think I'm gonna need something like this to just kind of cleanse my palate. You know what I mean? This next book is The Song of Achilles, and I've been wanting to get my hands on this book because I love Greek mythology, and I believe this is a retelling of Achilles. She also wrote another book that's a retelling of Greek mythology, which is Circe, which is also on my TBR, but I've heard good things about both, and I wanted both. This next book here is another historical fiction. I'm noticing that I got a lot of historical fiction, which is one of my favorite genres to read, but this is The Keeper of Hidden Books, and this takes place in Poland, I believe, during World War II, and it follows our FMC who has to save a library after her city is unfortunately attacked. And so this is a story about resilience and hope and faith, even under the most tragic circumstances. This next book is another historical fiction. This is Pachinko by Min-Jin Lee, and this was a book that I talked about earlier this year, one of my top 5 books that I want to read. So I discovered this book because I actually watched the show, which is on Apple TV, and if you haven't seen it already, but you love multi-generational stories, if you love beautiful cinematography, storytelling, acting, all of the above, then I think you'd really, really love Pachinko. The show is just so well done, and I cried so much watching that show. It just really hits you in the feels. Pachinko is a multi-generational story, and it starts with our protagonist Sunja, who is a young girl, and she grows up in this small little fishing village in South Korea, and then one day she has to move to Japan to start a brand new life. So ultimately this is a story about love, sacrifice, and family. This is Eleanor Oliphant is completely fine, and honestly I forgot to do a little synopsis of this, so I'm just gonna read it to you. Hopefully that's okay, but meet Eleanor Oliphant. She struggles with appropriate social skills and tends to say exactly what she's thinking. Nothing is missing in her carefully timetabled life, where weekends mostly consist of frozen pizza, vodka, and phone chats with mummy. Relatable. The very last book I have is The Giver of Stars. This is also a historical fiction which is set in the Great Depression in the States, and I believe it has themes of hope, friendship, and love. Okay, so those were all of the books. I think I had 19 books to show you guys, and I'm just so excited to add these to my home library. I feel so lucky that I finally get to make my dreams come true, and I want to be able to give back to you guys, my beautiful, beautiful community as well, which is why I'm gonna be giving away 2 blind date with books. Ta-da! I've been seeing these all over social media. I also saw this at a bookstore that I went to with my family when they came to visit, and we each got our own. And I have a little Etsy shop that I kind of run on and off. It's mostly more for a hobby for my crafts and stuff, but I had an idea to do my own. I will link my Etsy shop in my description box if you're curious. But I'm gonna be giving away 2 of these for my subscribers here in the continental US. Eventually, I would love to do a giveaway where I can reach more people, but I figured this was a good place to start. So I handmade this. I handmade all of the elements that are on here, and this is actually one that I'm giving my sister, so you're gonna get your very own one. So inside is gonna be either a hardcover or a paperback. I've also got like a little bookmark in there too. There's also 4 sticky tabs as well, a couple of stickers. There's also gonna be a tea as well. It's gonna have a highlighter and a handmade keychain. I made this myself. One of my hobbies is to macrame, so you're gonna get one of these keychains. And this one doesn't have it currently, but I'm also gonna throw in a face mask because we love our self-care moments. I just wanted to give this to my subscribers as a way to say thank you so much for supporting me and the channel. And I just wanted to do something nice and encourage you all to just slow down and take a moment to yourself, you know, do a little bit of self-care because you deserve it. So to enter, please make sure that you are subscribed to my channel. Make sure you like this video and answer this question in the comments. What is your favorite book of the year? There's also a form that I'm gonna put in my description box where you can enter your name and your email address so that I can contact you in case you do win and I'll know where to send it to. And if you want, you can also share this video with your friends so that they have a chance to win one of these blind date with the books as well. The deadline for entering is gonna be exactly a week from now. So it's gonna be December 6th at 8 a.m. And I'm gonna announce the winner here on YouTube on December 6th at 12 p.m. in my community post. So make sure you keep an eye out for that. And of course, I'm also gonna email the winners as well. And lastly, this is not sponsored by YouTube or any other brand. This is coming from me to you. Okay, so that is pretty much it for today's video. Thank you guys so much for sticking around, for watching. If you liked today's video, then please like and subscribe if you want to see more from me. And as always, take care of yourself because you deserve it. And I'll see you in my next video.